Most men don't lose a woman's attraction because they are broke, not famous, or not the best looking guy. They lose it in one very specific way. They get pulled into emotional arguments, start defending themselves, and slowly kill the attraction without noticing it. If you have ever walked away from a text argument or a late night call feeling drained and confused, that is exactly what is happening to you. Think about your last few conflicts with a girl you liked. The moment she got emotional, you probably felt this pressure inside to explain yourself, prove you are a good guy, and convince her she misunderstood you. So you started typing long paragraphs, defending every small thing, arguing point by point, trying to make her see that you are right. And after all that effort, you both ended up feeling worse, and her attraction quietly dropped. Most guys never realize this. They think the problem is money, looks, status, or that girls only like bad boys. In reality, the problem is much simpler. You keep stepping into her emotional storm instead of staying calm above it. When you let yourself get dragged into her emotional frame, you feel powerless. You feel like you are always responding, always reacting, always explaining. And every time you do that, you teach her that you are easy to shake. Here is what usually happens. A girl says something like, "You always do this," or "You never listen to me," or "You are ignoring me again." A guy like Mike or Jason will jump into defense mode and say, "What did I do? Tell me." Or, "That's not true." Or, "Why are you always blaming me?" In that moment, the girl has successfully pulled him into her emotional frame. Now, she is leading the tone, and he is following. He is no longer grounded, calm, or attractive in her eyes. When you are inside her emotional frame, you feel this constant urge to fix things, solve every small complaint, and clear every misunderstanding right away. You think that if you can just say the right words, she will calm down and everything will be fine. But what really happens is that the conversation becomes heavier, more serious, and less playful. The romantic tension fades, the fun disappears, and the vibe starts to feel like two roommates debating, not two people who are into each other. Now imagine a different version of you. One who stays above the conversation instead of falling into it. She says, "You always do this," in a frustrated tone. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause for a second. You let a small, relaxed smile appear. You take a breath. Then you say something simple like, "Interesting." You do not argue. You do not start explaining. You do not jump into proving your innocence. After that, you either gently change the subject or respond in a calm, light way without matching her emotional intensity. Why does this work so powerfully? Because women constantly test your emotional stability. They want to see if your mood is easy to shake, if your self-respect is easy to bend, and if your energy is easy to control. If every time she gets emotional and you join her in that emotional storm, she learns that your center is weak, she might still like you, but the deep attraction starts to fade. On the other hand, when you remain calm and present, you come across as grounded and strong, and that makes her feel more safe and more drawn to you. Let's take a very common situation, texting. A girl messages you. You see it, but you are busy, so you reply after 2 hours. As soon as you respond, she sends something like, "Wow, you're ignoring me again," or "You saw my message and didn't reply? Really?" Or "You always do this, you never text back on time." Many guys go into panic mode. They think, "Oh no, she is mad. I need to fix this." So they start giving long explanations. "Sorry, my phone died. My boss gave me extra work. I was driving. I was so busy." And they keep typing. On the surface, this looks polite and caring. But energetically, it communicates anxiety and fear of losing her. A calm, masculine presence would handle this very differently. He would relax first. He would send something short and simple, like, "I was busy," without apologizing 10 times. Or he would ignore the emotional charge and reply with something light, like, "What are you up to?" He does not fight her. He simply refuses to be dragged into an emotional spiral. The key is that his responses are short, calm, and non-react optimizer. He is not rude or cruel. He is simply stable. He respects his own time and energy, and he does not allow every small emotional shift in her to shake him. When you start responding like this, the whole dynamic changes. Her emotions move, but you do not. Instead of you chasing her emotional state, she starts adjusting to yours. You feel more like the man in the connection and her feeling more like the woman. This is where a lot of smart men mess up. A guy like David or Chris, who prides himself on being logical and intelligent, will try to solve relationship tension with more logic, more explanation, and more talking. He thinks that if he explains exactly what happened and why he did what he did, she will think he is rational and honest and that she will like him more. But in reality, the more he explains, the heavier the vibe becomes. The more serious the conversation gets, the more the playful, romantic energy disappears. You can see this around you. There are couples who have been together for a while and they talk to each other like roommates. They share responsibilities, talk about bills and schedules, but there is almost no tension anymore, no spark. They might even feel like brother and sister. They're technically a couple, but the attraction is almost gone. One big reason this happens is that every small conflict turns into long discussions, long explanations, and long logical breakdowns instead of light, calm leadership from the man's side. Energy matters more than your words. A woman is constantly picking up on your energy, your relaxed presence, the way you breathe, your tone, your pacing. If you talk too fast, if you rush to explain yourself, if you sound tense and eager to please, she feels your nervous energy. On the other hand, when you slow down a little, when you speak in a calm and steady tone, you feel very different to her. The same sentence spoken from a rushed, needy energy feels weak, and spoken from a relaxed, grounded energy feels attractive. A simple, practical shift you can make is to speak a bit slower than you normally do. Not so slow that it feels fake, but slow enough that you feel your breath and your words have weight. When you slow down, your body naturally relaxes. Your shoulders drop a little, your face softens, and you stop chasing the perfect response. A man who does not react emotionally to every small thing feels more solid to a woman. Remember this: the more energy you spend trying to impress a girl, the more power you give away. When you bend over backwards to prove that you are a good guy, that you would never hurt her, that you are always available, you stop being the man she was attracted to in the first place. She did not like you because you promised to explain yourself all the time. She liked you because of your presence, your vibe, your energy. When you drop your frame and chase her approval, you trade that energy for temporary comfort, and attraction slowly disappears. You have probably seen this contrast in real life. There's always that one guy who does not look like a model, does not have the most money, and does not have huge status. But girls seem drawn to him. They laugh more around him, they text him, they want to see him, they think about him more than they admit. At the same time, there are other guys who are well-dressed, financially stable, and even good-looking. But girls lose interest in them quickly. Often, the only real difference between these two men is their emotional frame. One of them is relaxed. He does not chase. He does not overreact. He does not let his emotions be controlled by her mood. If she pulls away, he does not panic. If she tests him, he smiles. If she complains, he listens but does not beg. The other guy is always reacting. He gets angry quickly, raises his voice, sends long paragraphs, tries to prove his point, and takes everything personally. That is how he was trained by his environment, his family, and his past relationships. To a woman, this second guy feels less safe, less attractive, and easier to push around emotionally. So when you look at your own life, do not rush to blame your appearance, your bank balance, or your job. Look at your emotional frame first. Notice how often you defend yourself, how often you try to convince someone, how often you get pulled into emotional arguments. Notice how your body feels during those moments. Your chest tightens, your breathing gets shallow, your mind starts racing, and you type or talk faster. That is the exact moment where attraction quietly starts to leak out. Attraction is not disappearing because there is something fundamentally wrong with you. It is disappearing because you are not holding a strong emotional frame. You have not trained yourself to stay calm, grounded, and relaxed when someone else is emotional in front of you. The moment you start explaining yourself, defending yourself, and arguing endlessly, you create painful results in your own life. You feel exhausted. She feels less drawn to you. Both of you feel less chemistry without fully understanding why. Your goal is not to become cold or heartless. Your goal is to become calm. To become the kind of man who can listen without reacting, who can disagree without fighting, who can be present without needing to prove himself. When a girl raises her voice, you do not need to raise yours. When she tries to pull you into a long emotional debate, you can respond briefly, clearly, and then step back. When she throws little tests at you, you do not fail them by panicking or over-explaining. You stay steady. When you learn to give fewer emotional reactions, you become the kind of man who is very hard to replace. Not because you are perfect, but because your emotional stability is rare. Most guys will argue, defend, and plead. You will not. Most guys will chase after every emotional shift. You will not. Most guys will lose themselves trying to keep a girl. You will not. And that difference is exactly what keeps a woman thinking about you, missing you, and wanting to be closer to you. So from now on, notice the next time a girl says, "You always do this," or "You never listen," or "You are ignoring me." Instead of jumping into the same old pattern, slow down, breathe, let a small smile appear. Say something short and calm. Stay above the emotional storm instead of diving into it. When you start living like this, people around you will feel the difference, not just women. You will feel less reactive, more grounded, and more confident, and your attraction will grow naturally without you trying so hard. I hope this helped you. I will meet you with another video soon.